everybody, and welcome along to just a very quick little video today where after nearly 2 years since Class originally aired, we've got a soundtrack release. So yes, over 2 years since the very first episode at the end of October 2016 aired of Class, the latest Doctor Who spin-off, which didn't really work out for TV, and did have its faults as a show and everything like that. But certainly I think one of the highlights of it, for me and I think for a lot of people, was the soundtrack. And we are now officially getting a soundtrack release from Silver Screen. Blair Moe has been talking about it for basically the last 2 years, about the guy who composed it, about the possibility of it coming out. And finally, on the 7th of December, we will be getting that soundtrack. Now, to me, this soundtrack release looks pretty impressive because it's not only a single disc, you've also got a bonus disc with over 70 minutes of extra music. In total, if you get the normal album and the bonus CD with it, you've got 89 tracks from Class, which probably will amount to something around 3 hours, 3.5 hours of music, which is really impressive, and it's surely going to cover pretty much everything you would want from the Class soundtrack. Every single interesting piece of music has got to be on there, which is fantastic. And bear in mind there are only 8 episodes of Class, so there's not even going to be that much music to choose from the 8 episodes. So the fact that we've got cram-packed 2 full discs of music, I'm really optimistic that certainly every single piece of music you ever liked and wanted from Class will be on that soundtrack somewhere. And yeah, for me, I always really appreciated the soundtrack of this series. It had quite a different feel to Doctor Who, in a sort of slightly more, probably a slightly darker vibe, given the show as itself was a fair bit darker than Doctor Who. I think it was a more sort of electronic, a bit more Radiophonic Workshop style in the sort of soundtrack, but also if you're giving a few hints, a few nods to Murray Gold's work, of course. I think the highlights of this soundtrack will probably be the sort of variations of A Good Man and the Doctor's theme. And I'm certainly looking forward to hearing those little bits in there as well. But there's also some brilliant original pieces in there, like the theme to the Shadowkin, the theme to the Cabinet, the Cabinet of Souls. All those sort of pieces of music are fantastic, and there really is, I think you'll find, maybe if you haven't really thought about it or never really realised, there is actually quite a lot of good music on the Class soundtrack. And I really do think it's fantastic that we finally got a release. I would hardly say it's the soundtrack I've been desperate for the last 2 years. I mean, I really want a Series 10 soundtrack more than this, to be honest. I certainly cannot wait, and hopefully we do get a Series 10 soundtrack. I mean, the fact that we've got a Class soundtrack, which you really didn't expect, hopefully hints at the fact that at some point we will get a Series 10 soundtrack for Doctor Who. But we'll have to just wait and see. And certainly I would say give this soundtrack a go, give it a chance. Maybe you don't remember the show itself so fondly, not gonna lie, it was up and down. I think at the time a lot of us quite enjoyed it, but looking back now you can really see lots of pretty significant faults and sort of disappointments and letdowns with the programme, hence why it wasn't renewed for a second series on TV. It's moved to Big Finish and there's some good Big Finish audios. I haven't listened to them personally, but I know they get fairly good reviews generally, but definitely we're not going to get another series of Class on television. That just isn't going to happen, I'm afraid. But it is nice to get kind of complete the final piece of the puzzle, as it were, with Class. Obviously you got the Blu-ray and DVD releases at the time, but it's nice to be able to finally get the full soundtrack, to kind of get the full experience from all angles of the 8 episodes of Class. So do go and pick it up. Yes, it's out 7th of December 2018, so just in time for Christmas. The bonus, I would recommend, if you're going to get the CD and the bonus CD, or if you're into vinyls, go get the vinyls as well, though they are releasing, I think, not until January and are ridiculously more expensive, but that's up to you. I'm not going with that. But if you want to get the full experience, make sure you purchase the album with the bonus CD, because the bonus CD with 70 minutes of extra music, I think 46 tracks, something like that, will not be streamed on iTunes or Spotify or anything like that. It is only available on that disc. So if you want the full Class soundtrack experience, make sure you pick up the full album. And you're in the UK, it's only £10.99. It's hard. It really is not that much. I mean, the Doctor Who Series 9 soundtrack was, I don't know, 15-20 quid. So it's pretty reasonably priced, and there's a lot of good music in there as well. And I will be sure to do some sort of review or something around it when it does come out in just 5 weeks' time. So yes, that's just a very quick bit of news today that we've had in the last few hours. We'll be getting a Class soundtrack come the 7th of December, the end of the year. Certainly it's something I'm really looking forward to, but I want to hear from you. Are you looking forward to it? Did you ever care particularly about this soundtrack being released? What tracks are you most looking forward to if you are into it? What pieces of music can you remember from Class that you are really looking forward to hearing for the first time? Is it those A Good Man variations or the Doctor's theme coming into it? Is it the theme of the Shadowkin, or is it something else completely? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But that is just about it from this video. I'll be coming up with lots more videos over the coming weeks. Of course, we've got another episode of Doctor Who coming up on Sunday, so you should be seeing a preview of that tomorrow night, then reviews and soundtracks and the whole shebang of it next week. Certainly something to look forward to. But other than that, guys, do remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you again very soon for another video. Goodbye.